And CNN now projects that Rand Paul, the Republican candidate in Kentucky, the Tea Party favorite, will become the next United States Senator from Kentucky, beating Jack Conway. You see 4% of the vote in Kentucky has now been counted. But based on that, based on the exit poll numbers, based on other information, we are projecting Rand Paul, the son of Ron Paul, the congressman, is the winner in Kentucky. You see that check. We project he will win. We also project in Indiana, not a huge surprise, the former Senator Dan Coates will become the next senator from Indiana, beating Brad Ellsworth, the congressman. He will succeed Evan Bayh, the longtime Democratic senator from Indiana. That represents a pickup for the Republicans in the United States Senate. We also project a winner in Vermont, Patrick Leahy, the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, re-elected for another 6 years. This is not a huge surprise. Len Britton, his opponent, was widely expected to lose. Patrick Leahy will win. We also project Jim DeMint, who is certainly a favorite of the Tea Party movement, the conservative from South Carolina, will be re-elected for another 6 years in South Carolina. He beats Alvin Green. He was that candidate who seemingly came out of nowhere to get the Democratic nomination in South Carolina. But Jim DeMint will win. Let's take a look at some of the actual votes that have already come in, with 5% of the votes in Indiana. You see Dan Coates, we project he will be the winner. 54% to Brad Ellsworth, 41%. He's ahead by 11,000 votes with only 5% in. But based on the exit poll numbers right now, we've projected that Dan Coates will succeed Evan Bayh in the United States Senate from Indiana. And in Kentucky, these are actual votes that have been counted in Kentucky. Rand Paul, we project he will be the next U.S. Senator from Kentucky. He's got 55% to 45% in the early balloting, in the early counting that's going on in Kentucky. Rand Paul will be a big winner in Kentucky. Let's go over to John King. All right, we can project that Rob Portman will become the next United States Senator from the state of Ohio. He beats Lee Fisher. Lee Fisher is the lieutenant governor. This is the seat that George Voinovich, the Republican, has held. He's retiring after 2 terms, so it will stay in the Republican column. This is not a Republican pickup, but Rob Portman, he was the budget director under President Bush, special trade representative as well. He's coming back to Washington as the United States Senator from Ohio. If you know them all, I think. All right, it's the top of the hour. CNN can now make projections in important races. Let's go to Delaware first. CNN projects that the Democratic candidate Chris Coons will be the next U.S. Senator from the state of Delaware. He beats Christine O'Donnell. Everyone remembers Christine O'Donnell. She's the candidate who said she was not a witch. She is not going to be a United States Senator, at least for now, either. Chris Coons, we project a winner in Delaware. In Florida, CNN projects Marco Rubio will become the next United States Senator from Florida. Marco Rubio coming seemingly out of nowhere, beating Charlie Crist. And you see his headquarters. They're thrilled in Florida right now. Marco Rubio will be the next United States Senator from Florida, beating Kendrick Meek, the Democrat, and Charlie Crist, the Independent. In New Hampshire, the Republican candidate Kelly Ayotte, we project that she will win. She beats Paul Hodes, the Democratic congressman from New Hampshire. This is an important race for the Republicans. They wanted New Hampshire. They will now have New Hampshire. This is a significant race. We cannot make projections in these states as of now. Important races underway. We don't have enough information on exit poll numbers or on actual ballots counted. Connecticut, Illinois, Missouri, Oklahoma, and that key battleground state of Pennsylvania. We're watching all of that. We can project in the state of Maryland right now, as expected, Barbara Mikulski, the long-term senator from Maryland. She will be reelected easily in the state of Maryland. Barbara Mikulski coming back to Washington for another 6 years. And in Alabama, another state fully expected, Richard Shelby, easily reelected in the state of Alabama. Richard Shelby will get another 6 years in Washington. Closed in Arkansas, and CNN can now make projections. In the Senate race, this is a pickup for the Republicans. CNN projects that John Boozman, the congressman from Arkansas, will be the next U.S. senator from Arkansas, beating Blanche Lincoln, the incumbent Democrat. Boozman wins in Arkansas. The Democrats will be happy as far as the governor is concerned. The incumbent governor, Mike Beebe, he will be reelected. He beats Jim Keat, the Republican challenger. So the Democrats stay on top of the governor's race in Arkansas, but Blanche Lincoln loses. We project Blanche Lincoln loses to John Boozman. This means that the number now goes down one more. The Republicans initially needed 10 to become the majority in the Senate. Dan Coates, we project, wins in Indiana, so it went down to 9. That's a pickup for the Republicans because of Evan Bayh, was still the incumbent Democrat from Indiana, but now Blanche Lincoln loses in Arkansas, and as a result, the number goes down to 8. The number they need. Here are some other numbers coming in from some races out there. The polls in Massachusetts closed at the 8 p.m. Eastern. 2% of the vote is in. Deval Patrick, the incumbent governor, the Democrat, is ahead 50% to 42% over Charlie Baker. Tim Cahill, the independent, with 7%. Still very early in Massachusetts. In South Carolina, 7% of the vote is now in. Nikki Haley, the Republican, at 52%. Vincent Shaheen, 46%. Still only 7% of the vote. 44%, getting close to 50% of the vote, counted now in Florida. The Republican Rick Scott with 50%. Alex Sink, she's the Democrat, 47%. Rick Scott is ahead by 83,767 votes, but only 44%. There's still time for her to catch up if she can. We're watching that Florida race closely. And in Ohio, Ted Strickland, the incumbent governor, with 13% of the vote in. He's got 51% of the vote to John Kasich, the former congressman, 45%, a difference of about 33,000 votes for Strickland, but it's still very, very early. Only 13% of the vote counted in Ohio. We got some more projections for you right now. Richard Blumenthal, the Attorney General in Connecticut, the Democratic candidate, we now project he will become the next United States Senator from Connecticut, succeeding Chris Dodd. We project he beats Linda McMahon, the Republican, the largely self-financed, the professional wrestling executive. Richard Blumenthal, we project will win in Connecticut. And in North Carolina, we projected Richard Burr, the incumbent senator in North Carolina, that he will win as well. Richard Burr beating Elaine Marshall, the Democratic candidate. Richard Burr will be reelected. 44% of the vote is actually in North Carolina, but Richard Burr stays in for another 6 years. As we fix the audio for Dana and Michael Steele, stand by. Another projection. CNN now projects, and this is a huge win for the Democrats, in West Virginia. Joe Manchin, the governor of West Virginia, CNN now projects he will be the next U.S. senator from West Virginia, filling the seat of Robert Byrd, who was in the Senate for decades. John Racy, the Republican, we project will lose. Joe Manchin, the Democrat, wins. The actual votes that we see right now, and only 19% of the ballots have been counted. 54% for Manchin, 43% for John Racy, 2% for the independent candidate Jesse Johnson. But this is a huge win for the Democrats. If the Democrats had lost in West Virginia, it could have been a total disaster, and the Republicans could have been on their way to actually capturing the 10 seats, the 10 net gain seats they need to be the majority in the Senate. But Manchin is the winner, we project, in West Virginia. In New York State, CNN now projects Kirsten Gillibrand, the Democratic senator. She wins in New York State. Gillibrand beats Joe DioGuardi, the Republican challenger. Not a surprise. This will be a 4-year term for her, by the way, because she took over for Hillary Clinton when she became Secretary of State. She's filling out Hillary Clinton's 4 years that were remaining. Chuck Schumer reelected easily in New York State. All of us remember Chuck Schumer running for the Senate in New York. He will get a six-year term. The question will be for Chuck Schumer if Harry Reid loses in Nevada. Does Chuck Schumer become the Democratic leader in the U.S. Senate? That there's been some speculation about that. This is something we could have projected a long time ago, but we didn't because all the polls weren't closed in South Dakota. But John Thune, he's reelected. He did not have an opponent. He did not have a Democratic challenger. He ran unopposed. John Thune, whose name has been mentioned as a potential Republican presidential candidate or vice presidential candidate, he gets reelected in South Carolina. In North Dakota, right now, CNN has another projection. North Dakota, the governor, John Hoeven, we project he is the winner, beating Tracy Potter. So that's a Senate pickup. Right now is an open Democratic seat. So that's another pickup, an important pickup for the Republicans in North Dakota. And in Kansas, CNN projects that the winner will be the Republican Jerry Moran versus Lisa Johnston. Jerry Moran will take over Sam Brownback's seat in Kansas. Sam Brownback was running for governor. That was an open seat, but it'll stay in Republican hands in Kansas. There's more information coming as well in Texas, and this is a big one for the Republicans. We project Rick Perry will be reelected as the governor of Texas. Rick Perry, with 50% of the vote now in, beats Bill White, former mayor of Houston. A big win for Rick Perry in Texas. Not a big surprise in New York. Andrew Cuomo, the attorney general, he'll be the next governor of New York. He beats Carl Palladino as fully expected. And in Kansas, Sam Brownback, the senator who gave up a Senate seat to become governor of Kansas, we project Sam Brownback wins in Kansas. CNN is now ready to make a major projection. The Republicans will take control of the House of Representatives. Based on a statistical analysis of key seats, key races all over the country, CNN can now project the Republicans will have a net gain of 39 seats, at least 39 seats. They will become the majority in the House of Representatives. CNN now projects that Deval Patrick, the incumbent governor of Massachusetts, he wins. He is reelected. Take a look at this. These are the actual vote with 56% of the vote now in. Deval Patrick, 50%. Charlie Baker, 41%. Tim Cahill, the independent, 8%. Deval Patrick, reelected. And we can make these projections. In Missouri, Roy Blunt, the congressman, longtime congressman from Missouri, he wins. He beats Robert Carnahan. Roy Blunt will become the next United States senator from Missouri. In Louisiana, David Vitter, a controversial incumbent Republican, we project he will be reelected. He beats Charlie Melanson, the congressman from Louisiana. David Vitter will come back for another 6 years in Washington. No great surprise in Arizona. John McCain, he had a tough primary battle, but he easily gets reelected in Arizona for another 6 years. Congratulations to John McCain as well. We project he wins, and the same goes for Chuck Grassley in Iowa. Not a huge surprise. We expected that Chuck Grassley would easily be reelected, and he is easily reelected in Iowa. Welcome back. We now have 4 more projections to make. Governor's races, important governor's races. Let's go through them. Susana Martinez, the Republican, she will be the next governor of New Mexico, succeeding Bill Richardson, the current governor of New Mexico. It's a Republican pickup. She's a Latina, and so this is historic in New Mexico right now. In Pennsylvania, Tom Corbett, another Republican. He's the Attorney General. He'll become the next governor of Pennsylvania. Tom Corbett will win that race, Republican governor of Pennsylvania. Rick Snyder, another Republican, will become the next governor of Michigan. It's another pickup for the Republicans in these gubernatorial races. Very interesting. In Maryland, Martin O'Malley, the incumbent Democrat, he is reelected. He beats Bob Ehrlich, a former governor. Martin O'Malley will stay on as the governor of Maryland. All right, we have another projection. Governor of Colorado, John Hickenlooper, the mayor of Denver, we project he will be the next governor of Colorado right now with 44% of the vote in, 53% for Hickenlooper. Look at the Republican nominee, Dan Mace, only 9%. Tom Tancredo, the former Republican congressman from Colorado, running as an independent with 36%. A lot of our viewers will remember Tom Tancredo, very, very fiercely opposed to illegal immigration in the country, but he does not win. Hickenlooper, we project, will be the next governor of Colorado. Major projection, a major pickup for the Republicans in the United States Senate. CNN now projects that Ron Johnson, the Republican challenger to Russ Feingold, the longtime Democratic senator from the state of Wisconsin, Ron Johnson will be the next senator from Wisconsin. Russ Feingold will lose right now with 39% of the actual vote. Johnson has 54% to Feingold's 45%, 84,000 votes ahead of nearly a million votes cast. But still, based on the exit polls, based on all the information we're getting, this is a big loss for Russ Feingold. He hoped to come back and to win this contest, even though polls in Wisconsin showed him behind. He was refusing to accept outside PAC money. He did have a record of voting independently on many issues, but he did vote with the president on health care reform. That probably hurt him in Wisconsin right now. Feingold will not be returning to Washington as a United States Senator. Ron Johnson will be coming to Washington. That means there's another net pickup for the Republicans. They now need 6 more, a net gain of 6 more in order to become the majority in the Senate. That's very, very difficult for them. All right, at the top of the hour, it's 11 p.m. on the East Coast. Ron Wyden, we project, will be the next U.S. He'll be reelected from Oregon. We expected this. Ron Wyden beating the Republican Jim Hoffman relatively easily. He'll come back for another 6 years in the United States Senate. Similarly for Mike Crapo, the Idaho senator, Mike Crapo beating Tom Sullivan, the Democrat, easily reelected in the reliably red state of Idaho. Those are 2 projections we're making. All right, we have another projection, a major projection. The governor of South Carolina race, Nikki Haley, we project, will become the next governor of South Carolina, beating Vincent Shaheen, the Democrat. Nikki Haley right now with 91% of the vote in, 52% to Vincent Shaheen, 46%. She had the strong support of Sarah Palin, the Tea Party movement. She is a first-generation American. Her parents are Indians from India. Nikki Haley will be the next governor of South Carolina. All right, CNN now projects the Democrats will, in fact, retain control of the United States Senate. The Republicans needed to win 10, a net gain of 10 in the Senate. They are not going to get 10 seats, a net gain of 10 seats in the United States Senate. The Democrats will retain control of the Senate, irrespective of what happens to Harry Reid in Nevada. We have not made a projection in Nevada yet. Harry Reid facing a tough challenge from Sharon Angle. And here's why. Barbara Boxer, we project, will be reelected for the United States Senate from California. Barbara Boxer will beat Carly Fiorina in that Senate contest in California with 24% of the actual vote in. She is ahead 48% to 46%. But based on exit polling, based on other information that our experts are getting, we project that Barbara Boxer will be reelected. And that explains why the Democrats will retain the majority in the Senate. It may not be a huge majority, certainly won't be the 59 to 41 majority that they've had in the current U.S. Senate. Remember, they started off with 60 to 40 until Scott Brown, the Republican, won in Massachusetts, bringing it down to 59. But they will retain the majority in the United States Senate. It's a big win for the Democrats. They were very, very nervous that they would lose the majority in the Senate, as they are doing in the House of Representatives. But because Barbara Boxer will win in California, we project the Democrats will retain the majority. Thanks very much, Anderson. A major projection in California. Jerry Brown, he will be the governor of California. He was the governor 30 years ago. He's going to be the governor once again. He beats Meg Whitman, the former eBay CEO, self-financed. She spent probably $140 or $150 million of her own money, but she's not going to be the governor of California. Jerry Brown, right now, by the way, with 26% of the actual vote counted, he has 49%. Meg Whitman, 46%. But based on exit polling and other information, we project Jerry Brown will win. Earlier, we projected, by the way, that Barbara Boxer would be reelected. She beat Carly Fiorina, the former Hewlett-Packard CEO. So both of these women, these Republicans who spent millions of their own dollars to try to get elected in California, both of them lose. Linda McMahon, by the way, who spent millions of her dollars in Connecticut, she lost to the Democrat Richard Blumenthal as well. Arizona, Jan Brewer, the incumbent governor of Arizona, is reelected. She beats Terry Goddard in the state of Arizona. A lot of our viewers will remember Jan Brewer. She helped push through that anti-illegal immigration law in Arizona. She has been rewarded, I guess, in part because of that. The voters in Arizona liked her enough to get her reelected with 61% of the vote now counted in Arizona. She has 56%. Terry Goddard, 41%. So Jan Brewer, reelected governor of Arizona. All right, CNN now projects that John Kasich will be the next governor of Ohio. John Kasich, we project he is the winner in Ohio. But let's take a look at this, the Pennsylvania race. Pat Toomey, we project he will be the next U.S. Senator from Pennsylvania. Pat Toomey is a former congressman from Pennsylvania, but he will beat Joe Sestak, who was the Democratic candidate. That's a big win for the Republicans in Pennsylvania. This is a state that Democrats desperately need if they want to retain the White House in 2012, but certainly a big win for the Republicans in what traditionally has been a relatively blue state of Pennsylvania. All right, CNN's ready to make another major projection right now. Let's put it up on the board in Illinois. Look at this. Mark Kirk, the Republican, we project will be the next United States Senator from Illinois. Mark Kirk. He's a 5-term Republican congressman. He beats Alexei Giannoulias. He's the Democratic state treasurer, a friend of the president's. This is the seat that President Obama used to hold. Roland Burris is the current U.S. Senator from Illinois. But Mark Kirk will become the next U.S. Senator. And now that Roland Burris is leaving the United States Senate, there will not be even one African American in the United States Senate. Mark Kirk will be the next U.S. Senator from Illinois, an embarrassment for the Democrats and for President Obama, since that was the seat that he used to hold. Let's take a look at some numbers coming in. We have not projected a winner yet in Nevada. With 70% of the vote in, Harry Reid, the majority leader, is still ahead, 51% to 45% for Sharon Angle, the Republican and Tea Party candidate. 30% of the vote still outstanding. We have not projected a winner in Colorado because it's so close. Michael Bennet, the incumbent appointed senator, 48% to Ken Buck, the Republican Tea Party favorite, 47%. Bennett is ahead by 8,453 votes. More than 1 million have been counted already. It's close in Washington state as well. 54% of the vote has now been counted. 51% for the incumbent Patty Murray, and 49% for the Republican challenger Dino Rossi. It's close in Washington state. And CNN projects that Harry Reid, the Democratic leader, the majority leader in the Senate, will be re-elected, beating the Republican challenger Sharon Angle in the state of Nevada. Right now, with 70% of the vote in, Harry Reid has 51% to Sharon Angle's 45%. But based on those numbers, exit poll numbers, other information we're getting, Harry Reid will stay in the United States Senate. And he will be, continue to be, we assume, the majority leader, even though that majority is going down and down and down. We have projected the Democrats will retain the majority in the Senate as opposed to the House of Representatives. All right, we got some more projections right now on propositions in California. Marijuana is not going to be legal for recreational use. CNN now projects that Proposition 19 will go down to defeat no 56%, yes 44%, 20% of the vote is counted in California, but based on our exit polling and other information and the actual voting so far, Proposition 19 will go down to defeat. Marijuana for recreational use in California will not happen, at least not now. In Rhode Island, there was a proposition, it was called Question 1, to change the name of the state. The official name of Rhode Island is Rhode Island and Providence Plantations. There was a motion to change the name just to Rhode Island. They say no, 78% with 100% of the vote in. Didn't want to change the name, 22% yes. So Rhode Island stays as Rhode Island and Providence Plantations. That's the official name of the state. Rhode Island has a new governor, an independent, the former Republican Lincoln Chafee, the former senator from Rhode Island. He will become the next governor of Rhode Island. He beats Frank Caprio, who was the Democratic nominee, John Robitaille, the Republican nominee, Lincoln Chafee, the independent, the friend of President Obama. Remember President Obama only the other day? He went to Rhode Island. He didn't endorse anybody, but he didn't endorse the Democratic nominee, Frank Caprio, that irritated a lot of Democrats. It certainly irritated Frank Caprio, who uttered those famous words, the president can take his endorsement and really shove it, something to that effect. I'm sort of paraphrasing, but you get the point of what Frank Caprio said right now. Lincoln Chafee will be the next governor of Rhode Island.